Welcome back, everybody. It is Tuesday night, and that means another episode of Theater and Tech Trends live. Not pre-record, but we're live, baby, live. And man, there's a lot of good stuff coming up because it's Cedia season. And one of my good friends, Chuck Back with Trinnov, has all kinds of good stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. Chuck, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Giles.
Yeah. Oh, man, I love it when you come on because you guys have amazing products, and we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff tonight. And then one product that's there behind you, we'll get to toward the later in the show. But for the 2-channel aficionado, this does 2-channel in a way that I like 2-channel to be done, which makes it like more than 2 channels. But we'll get to that in a bit. First off, to level set for everyone out there that might not know you, let's start out with who you are, what you do, and why people should care.
I am one of the managing directors of Trinnov Audio here in the U.S. And so I'm involved in a wide variety of things at Trinnov, some management responsibilities, but primarily I'm involved in sales and support. And that means helping dealers and customers with system designs, helping them with calibrations, because the Trinnov processors, when connected to the internet, will call back to our server in Paris. I can connect to them remotely and can perform a calibration from my desk across the country. All I really need is someone to set up the microphone.
Right on.
We do a fair amount of that. I do some calibrations in person here in the Los Angeles area, and support after the sale. And that's been my passion. I'm doing this because I love working with expensive, exotic toys. And there's nothing like being able to see the satisfaction and pleasure people get out of a really good home theater system that's built around a Trinnov processor.
Right on. And, the Trinnov is one of my favorite pieces of gear. But, I've had a knock on the Altitude series of gear, and that is the UI for the layperson, not super intuitive. But you guys have an answer for that coming up pretty soon to make things a little bit better, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so that's the first topic that I want to get to. And I was really joking. I mean, the UI I think is fine, right? Once you get in there and learn it, it's super powerful. You can do a lot of stuff with it. But you guys are taking that and making it even better in a new software release that's going to come up. Is it early 2026?
We're looking at getting this out perhaps by the end of the year. It'll be rolled out at the end of the year into next year. It'll first appear in production units,
right?
And then we'll roll it out as a once again free software upgrade to customers that own existing units.
Right on.
We're going to do that over a period of time so that we're able to give proper support to people doing the upgrade.
Now, when is that going to require a new calibration after upgrade?
Yes. Yes, that's this for the first time in the history of upgrades in the Altitude. This will require a new calibration, and that's one of the reasons that we're announcing it in advance, so that we can give customers that might be planning to do a calibration some advance notice, so they don't spend time and perhaps pay a calibrator to come in.
Sure,
only to find out.
Super frustrating. Like, oh, I just got it done. Yeah. What now? There's an update. I have to do it again. So I assume then that this is going to be a fairly significant update. I can't even imagine. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what's going to be in there.
Yeah, well, it involves some changes to the underlying code, which is why we need to do the new calibration. All of the features are preserved. So everything that you have in terms of functionality, from the optimizer to remapping to waveforming, all of that remains. But with this new writing of the code, we're going to have more capability to do more in the future. So that's the under the hood look at it. In terms of what you see in the GUI, it's a completely refreshed look.
Okay.
So it is much more modern looking, much more sleek, much more stylish. It looks really nice. We haven't actually released anything formally yet to show, so I can't quite show it to you yet, but coming very
Right.
soon.
Yeah. I can't when you guys do release what that's going to look like, I would love to at least have some pictures to show people, or maybe even a little walkthrough quickly, brief couple of minute thing just so people can get a feel. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
let's do that. We'll be happy to once
That
we
would be cool. Yeah. So
have
I'm,
that
I'm
available
looking at
for you.
I'm looking at the notes, and um, the key highlights are new user interface, like you said. Um, latest immersive audio implementations. The update will incorporate Trinnov's latest implementation of Dolby Atmos, DTS:X Pro, R3D decoding, including for support for features such as Dolby Surround upmixing on wide channels. That's cool.
Yeah,
And then
we'll be putting in the latest Dolby code. So we're refreshing all of the codecs, including the outmixers, and the request for having the wides to play in the Dolby Surround outmixer is something that's been around for quite a while. And so I know
absolutely,
that Trinnov owners are going to be very happy to get that feature. So
yeah.
that is probably the most significant thing in terms of the new codec or
That
refresh.
is cool because they're like, now all my speakers can play, right? Um, so
Indeed.
Steven or Stefan, I'm not sure. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. He's super excited for the new update, and he's like, man, I don't mind doing more calibrations. Let's go. He's just ready for it. And I
Cool.
kind of feel the same way as he does, right? When you've got this Bugatti of processors in your house, right? There's obviously a segment of the market that likes to have that really nice experience, and they want to know that they've got the best, right? And they have people come in and they're like, I'm not an expert at this. I'm going to have folks come in and handle all this stuff. But then you got other people that are like me, and maybe like Steven or Stefan, that we want to play a little bit, right? And we're like, let's see what we can do with this thing. Let's see what we can mess up or make great, right?
And you'll find that the navigation is smoother, and the display of information is even better organized in terms of working through the calibration process and seeing multiple elements of what's happening in the optimizer. So
That's
I think
awesome.
that's going to be really well received.
Right on. And Glatch, he's out here. It sounds like the Trinnov might be an aspirational piece of gear for him. He's like,
Yeah.
one day it's coming, one day. So, and just for Glatch, it's really a great piece of gear. And if you're going to have a theater where you're going to have, an investment of not only your money but also of your, I guess, your passion. It's a good way to go, right? Because it's like I kind of liken it to people who buy the big Ford F-350 trucks, and the things that are rather expensive, but it's their passion. I think of the Trinnov as this is a tool for people who are passionate about their home theater experience, right? So if that's you, Glatch, then I say go all in, man. Why not? You could do way worse.
Yeah, welcome to the party.
Absolutely, and man, it is a party. But Glatch, just be ready. Wait for the new UI, and then we can all dig in together. And we can give you a hand figuring stuff out. It's pretty interesting. Of course, you'll have a nice dealer that can help you as well. But it's good to kind of interact and catch up with the larger Trinnov user group out there. So let's change gears just a little bit, and I want to talk about a way that people can experience Trinnov. Outside of potentially their local dealer, and that's Cedia. And Cedia is a trade show that's coming up in September. And as I understand, you guys are going to have a huge presence there.
Indeed. For those that might be expecting one of our massive home theater demos, I have to say that we are not engaging in a huge demo in an 18-seat custom-built theater as we've done in previous years. That's been extremely well received and been a great showcase for waveforming. But the room is being retired from trade shows. It's actually going to be set up in the new headquarters that we're building outside Paris.
Really?
which is going to be an amazing facility. It's we should talk about that a bit.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I'm going to take a note right now. Totally.
Yeah, that's where we have constructed a 50,000 square foot building. We'll be occupying most of it, but some of it will be for other businesses for rental. This will be our future and forever home for acoustic research. It is going to be offices, it's going to be warehouses, but primarily the reason for doing this is to have the facilities to do the most advanced acoustical research of the sort that we've been doing to develop things like waveforming. When Trinnov was formed, it was really a research project. It wasn't created with by the three founders as a business enterprise. It was an effort to do basic research into audio that led into research into three-dimensional sound and led into the optimizer and the history of Trinnov. So we'll have a very large acoustic, rather large anechoic chamber for testing, multiple demonstration rooms, multiple evaluation rooms, lots of space for the R&D team, 100-seat cinema.
Oh, wow. So a big one.
Yeah, so it will be a place for our cinema product line because we exist in the pro world, we exist in the residential world, and we exist in the cinema world. We'll have awesome. On the pro side, we'll have mixed rooms for stereo and mixed rooms for Atmos. So it's going to be quite an amazing facility, and we'll be moving into that later this year.
Oh, so if you're going to move in later this year, this project is then well underway. I assume that construction was started some time ago. Is that right?
Yeah. Construction is for the shell of the building, and most of the interior is finished.
Awesome.
And so it's now a matter of getting everything fitted and finished in terms of building out the rooms and getting all the equipment in. And
but that's going to be a lot of cabling.
Yeah. A lot of cabling, a lot of speakers, a lot of everything.
Yeah. And for folks out there, if you've never done, commercial construction, this represents a humongous investment.
And one of the continually amazing aspects of our CEO, Arno Labrie, is he did the architectural design.
Oh, really?
And it's designed for acoustical isolation, and it is in a beautiful setting outside Paris. That's in kind of wooded area. So when you're in the building, you really won't get the sense that you're in an urban environment at all. So it's going to be a beautiful place to work.
Well, I know what I'm going to do next time I go to France. I'm going to say, hey, you guys mind if I just stop by for a few minutes and check it out? And I love France, by the way, the French Riviera. Man, go down to Cannes. It's just a beautiful area. It's beautiful. So let's flip back a little bit. And so you were saying that you're not going to do the super big room this time. So, but what are you going to do? Because I know you're going to be in lots and lots of different spots.
Yeah. So our primary room will be on the street level of the Colorado Convention Center.
Okay.
An area called the High Performance Audio Rooms. That's separate from the main floor.
Right.
So it's a little quieter down there, and there are meeting rooms. So we're going to use the meeting room for presentations on what's new that we're going to be showing at the show, including the new user interface. But in particular, we're going to take advantage of the space to do some education. We're going to have training classes. We're going to have a free training day on Wednesday before the show opens, where we're going to have a session called Introduction to Trinnov, which will give an overview of Trinnov, of the altitude and basic operation. Then a much more in-depth one that Arno Labrie is going to present, which will be a deeper dive into waveforming called Mastering Waveforming. So that's going to get much deeper into the technical aspect, help people understand design and calibration for waveforming. And then David Meyerowitz, who's one of our European sales managers, is going to be presenting a course on audio over IP, which
that's great.
is coming. AES 67 and Dante are becoming more and more popular, more and more integrated into systems. And so there's a lot of learning that needs to be done there, because that is no longer a plug and play kind of situation.
Sure.
So there's a network understanding that needs to be done to make things work properly and glitch free. So those are the things we're going to be focusing on for education.
And so we have one request out in the crowd for your educational presentations there, for the folks that aren't going to be at Cedia, that wouldn't be able to attend. Stephen is saying, hey, please film that so we can watch it back later. That would be, so I don't know, just an idea from
request,
from the gallery.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
So cross your fingers, Stephen, maybe. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. And then I think you've probably met Joey Peacock. He works over at Mad
sure.
now. And
Joey.
He says hi. He says, you're awesome.
Thanks, Joey. Joey's awesome too. Come on.
He is awesome.
He is.
He is very awesome.
Yeah, very much.
Okay, so your main presence will then be on street level. You're going to be doing the cool education series, and that, for folks out there, that's really a nice offering from Trinnov to do that at no charge, right? Because they could easily charge, and I'm sure that you do have other paid training engagements. So this stuff's not inexpensive, so this is really, really cool and a great opportunity. Now, will the training be showing the new UI as well?
Yes, we'll get to see that. So
even better. Okay, that's great. And so for folks that want to hear it, where do they go for that?
So we are partnered in 6 rooms across the show. So there's
not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, 6. Okay.
We're going to have the one we're most tightly partnered is with Lumigen, Soundroom 11. That's one that we're more of a formal partner with Next Level Acoustics, speakers, speaker power amplifiers, Seymour Screen Excellence, digital projection, and Valencia Seating. So that's going to be a 9.4.6, and we're going to do waveforming in there.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that room too, because one of the ideas there is that this is a room for, I'm not going to say not enough. I guess in the sense of things that is an affordable room, it's like 170,000 all in or something like that,
right?
Which represents a humongous value compared to $1 million room, right? And I know you guys are going to knock it out of the park, because all of the partners, including you, are amazing. I can't wait to hear this one.
Yeah, that one's going to be great, no doubt. Then we're partnering with other great companies who are also going to have great demonstrations.
Sure.
Kind of in alphabetical order.
Okay.
We have Elcons. Is going to be doing waveforming. That should be quite interesting. That should be quite good. Kaleidoscape is not going to have elaborate audio displays, but they'll have multiple screens, and we're going to be part of 3 demo systems set up in the Kaleidoscape booth.
Do you know if they're going to do the same kind of booth where they usually have like maybe a square rectangle and then screens on each side? Do you know if that's going to be the same kind of thing?
I think it's going to be similar to that. I think they're going to have a very large display and then smaller displays flanking it. I haven't seen the actual plan.
Right on. Yeah,
it's always a great presentation on their part.
Yeah, I still have to set my appointment with them. I've got that email out, but I will definitely stop by. I love their product.
Working also with Crix, and they're doing waveforming. Crix we've partnered with in other shows previously, like ISE.
Now they've entered the U.S. market now, right?
That's correct. Yeah, this will be with their theater system.
That's exciting.
And with K-Array,
Mhm.
We've worked closely with them. They make some great stuff. This won't be quite as elaborate a system, no waveforming, but again, it'll show the capability of the optimizer in a more modest setup.
Yeah, so
With great
K-Array
speakers.
last year they had man, they were quite small speakers that were just putting out some very impressive sound.
That's their strength. They really they're very deceptive if you're
Yeah,
walking up and seeing them before you hear them.
cool. So that what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess there's one more, is that
One
right?
more is Sound Tube folks, the Darts theater
Oh,
system,
yeah.
uh, and we've worked with them as well, and that always turns out great.
So
So we've got 6 really nice presentations.
yeah, and I am very familiar with all these companies, with the exception of Darts. Those guys I don't know quite as well, but KRA, Crix, Kaleidoscape, Alcons, and then the sound room with Lumigen, man, just
Yeah.
all wonderful people. I highly recommend all of those products for folks. If you're interested, check them all out. They all have their strengths and as to what they bring to the table. But that is a great lineup. That's really cool. All right, and so everybody out there, it's going to be in September. What is it, 4th through 7th or something like that? I think 4th might be that Wednesday.
Yeah, 4th would be the free classes
The
day.
train, yep. And then the show will be on Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Correct.
no Sunday. This is mainly geared toward other businesses, right? It's kind of a true trade show, but
Yeah, it is a trade show. Yes.
yeah, but consumers can get in there too. And if anybody wants to get in and you can't figure out how to do it, and you're going to be in Colorado those days, reach out to me and I can help you figure out a way to get in and enjoy some of the goodness there. But it's for folks that are in CI world, this is the show for the United States. This is the one, at least in my opinion. I think it's awesome.
There's no question.
Right on. So let's move away from Cedia just a little bit, and I want to talk a little bit more about waveforming, right? Because that is one of the more significant features that's been released by Trinnov in recent history. And maybe you can talk a little bit about exactly what this is doing and how people would implement this into their system, and kind of what they need and that kind of stuff. So if they're thinking new home theater build or maybe an upgrade, why would they want to use this tech?
Waveforming is the solution to a problem that has plagued reproduction of sound in rooms forever, because it's dealing with an intractable part of physics, which is that rooms have certain dimensions, and those dimensions will define the modes of sound that get reinforced and canceled depending on where one is placed in the room. So these room modes cause standing waves. That's the problem we're trying to resolve. A standing wave is going to be at a particular frequency, and it's going to, at some points in the room, be much louder than because of the buildup of the standing wave. In other points of the room, it may disappear completely because of a null.
Right.
So,
For the constructive and deconstructive, clash. So if you think about it, right, you've got these waves bouncing around the room, and in some areas, the wave will go this way, and then maybe you have one this way, and the peaks are at the same spot. So that's constructive interference. And then where you have the deconstructive interference, that then the sound is sucked out. So this is where people say bass sucks or nulls or holes, right? Folks are all like, oh, the bass is awesome, and that's usually where you have that kind of the constructive interference, and then the nulls. So this is technology designed to address that issue.
Right. Those frequencies are going to be the frequency in any given room is going to be dependent on the dimensions of the room and all of the dimensions of the room. A smaller room is going to suffer from more severe problem than a larger room. An auditorium like a movie theater doesn't have this problem because the modes are at such low frequency. They're below way below 20 hertz.
Right. Yeah. The rooms are just so huge. Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is resolve this problem not by putting a Band-Aid on it. There are lots of Band-Aid approaches that work pretty well at resolving those peaks and dips, but they do so by kind of pushing a lot of energy into the room and kind of having one sub take care of the weakness of another sub.
Sure.
What waveforming aims to do and achieves is the elimination of standing waves in the first place. They don't get created.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Right.
So we do that by placing the subwoofers in specific locations. Now, before I get too deep into that, I want to say something that is kind of a myth buster.
Okay.
We have demonstrated waveforming at trade shows in large rooms with large numbers of subwoofers. And some people have taken away from that the implementation of implementation of waveforming requires a large number of subs, 8, 10, 12 subs. In fact, waveforming requires a minimum of 4 subwoofers. You can do it with 4 subs. It does not require more to get the benefit of waveforming. The greater the number of subs and the better the placement of the subs when you add additional, then we can get better control of the sound. But you'll get the base benefits with 4 subwoofers, and that's really where anyone who's interested in this, particularly if you've got an existing system and you don't want to do construction to your room walls, you can do it with 4 subs. So mentioned that you get different levels of performance. Basically, there are 3 levels of performance. Planar is the ultimate level. That's with the subs very specifically placed in the front and rear walls.
Okay. And planar, that's like a vertical plane, correct? Through the room?
It's vertical and horizontal.
Okay.
So what we're trying to do is create a plane wave that we can steer with the algorithm. So let's talk about plane. Let's talk about the ultimate application. We would have multiple subwoofers in the front wall of the room, multiple subwoofers in the back wall of the room. Mm-hmm. The number and placement is going to depend on the dimensions of the room, sure, because we want to shape a wave that is appropriate for the room. So if we have a room that's relatively small to make it easy, maybe it's 15 feet by a 9 or 10 foot ceiling, we would typically have 4 subwoofers.
Right.
So they would be optimally placed at the quarter points of the width and the height of the room.
Okay.
So
yep.
We're forming a rectangle with each point being a quarter of the way to each side and up and down.
Gotcha.
With that arrangement and the algorithm, we can steer that wave towards the seats and away from the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. So we don't get the standing waves built up from side to side and top to bottom. That plane wave comes through the seating area, and then when it gets to the back wall, we would normally then get a reflection front to back and getting standing wave there. The rear subs then act primarily as absorbers to absorb that back wave, so it doesn't reflect back to the front.
Right on. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And what that does is that gives us more energy directed towards the seats, so you get more impact. We reduce the decay times of the bass enormously. So instead of having that muddy bass that hangs around in the room because of the standing waves, we drop that energy down. So you have decay times that start to approach what you can get to decay times at high frequencies in a well-designed room.
Nice.
That clears up the bass. You hear much more detail, and significantly it clears up the rest of the spectrum because that mud in the room masks the sound at higher frequencies.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And when you have multiple seats in a theater, that's when you have the greatest problem getting consistent bass. With waveforming, we get very consistent seat-to-seat bass response. So we can get with planar waveforming, we can get all the seats in the theater to plus or minus 2 dB across the bass spectrum.
Yeah, which is basically not really noticeable. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not, and not really achievable with conventional techniques.
Right.
The Cedia RP22 standard um, at level 4 calls for a 2 dB variation for 2 seats, but
Right.
waveforming can do that for all of the seats.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And so, and this was what you called what, level 3?
Well, this would be the planar waveform. This is the
Oh, flavor.
highest
Okay,
level.
this is
Yeah.
the highest one.
Then, if you can't do that, you've got an existing room. We can do what we call cylindrical waveforming with a line array of subs.
Okay.
So in this room, this example room, we would have 4 subwoofers. They can go on the floor, and they're going to be placed at the quarter points of the width of the room.
Okay.
So 2 in the front, 2 in the back at the quarter points. And with that, we're going to get very good control of decay times. They're going to improve enormously. We can get improvement in terms of seat-to-seat variation, but if there are multiple rows and there's a riser, because the subs are on the floor, we don't get vertical control.
Right.
So that's not going to be quite as good. There will be an improvement, but won't be quite as good. And along with the improvement in decay time, you're going to have that impact. The waveforming will give you more of a chest punch when there's a shotgun being fired.
Right.
When you're watching John Wick or whatever.
Sure.
Whatever blows things up. So that works really well, and that's much more practical.
Sure. Absolutely. And I think most people that are going to have a Trinnov will have at least that kind of array of subwoofers available to them. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Or can easily upgrade to it.
Yeah.
Conventional approach is where you would have 4 subs already placed in the corners, which would be a typical way of doing the subwoofers.
Sure.
In that case, the subs are too widely spaced to create a really effective front wave. So the benefit is limited. You're going to get all the improvements, but they're just going to be at a lower scale.
Gotcha.
So if you can move them in, go for it.
So here's a hypothetical, and so in a room that's maybe, not the best room, like 15 foot by 15 foot with like 8.5 foot ceilings. And there's a complement of 5 subs, and you can do 2 in the front at quarter points, and then you could do 2 in the rear at the quarter points, and then 1 in the center. Is that something that waveforming will be able to handle?
Yeah, we can do multiple configurations, including a triangular approach makes sense if you can elevate it. If not, you can do 3 subs on the floor.
Sure. Maybe some of the rear could be elevated. That's interesting. The front would not really be possible to elevate because this is my room.
Okay. So let's be specific then.
Yeah, it's my room. So no, I have a new toy that I'm going to play with. So I'm doing a project for stereo integrity, GSG audio, and speaker power, building a big 24-inch sub that I'm going to put in the back of the room and see how that impacts things.
Okay.
Impacts them. Yeah. It's a big boy.
That would be the intent.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I'll keep you updated with how that comes along.
We can help you with that in the calibration.
Yeah. Super fun. Cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So,
and I can add.
Yeah, please do.
We have detailed instructions and background on the website. So anyone who is interested in waveforming should go spend some time on the website. We've got overview with some fair technical detail talking about what we're doing. And then from a practical standpoint, we have tools that you can use to determine the proper number of subs for your particular system and where they should be placed. And once you've done that, then we've got a tool to walk you through the calibration process and where to set the microphone to do the calibration.
That's awesome. And just for clarity's sake, this is functionality that's built into all the devices, right? So this isn't an add-on. This is just part of the system.
This is part of the optimizer. So
Right.
as long as your software is is up to date at the altitude, you have waveforming.
Right on. Now, I want to digress just a little bit because one of the things that for folks that aren't super knowledgeable about Trinnov and the way that your optimizer works is one of my favorite things is the microphone, right? And you've got one sitting back there.
Mhm.
And what if you could talk just a little bit about it, because this microphone can pinpoint your speakers in 3D space. And I once, while I was running, the optimizer, I hadn't tightened up the tripod that I had the microphone on, and the microphone listed off to the side. And then when I looked at the result, I my right speaker way up here, and the other was way down on the floor, and I'm all like, it really does work.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
So, and this is not common, right? I don't know of anybody else that does kind of that 3D spatial.
No, it's a unique microphone. No one else has it. It's 4 elements, and those 4 elements enable us to locate the speakers in 3-dimensional space. The test signal comes from a speaker. It passes through each of the 4 capsules at a slightly different time, and that gives us the ability to triangulate and locate it. And we do it to within 1 or 2 degrees of azimuth and elevation, and
Right.
1-2 centimeters of distance. So it's very accurate. And what that enables us to do is use our patented feature waveforming. Or rather, waveforming,
Well,
sorry. Remapping.
remapping.
Remapping
Yes,
is the feature. And remapping uses the principle of stereo imaging to fix a situation where you, for whatever reason, couldn't put a speaker where you wanted to. There might be a door or a window. With remapping, we're going to use speakers primarily adjacent to it, but not necessarily, to create a phantom image where that speaker should have been placed. So
right.
Instead of hearing something that's thrown off, you'll hear the image where the sound mixer wanted you to hear it. And no one else has that. That's a unique Trinnov technology.
So, one that makes me think of one thing. So, for I guess it's sound room 11, right? The Lumigen room that you're going to be in. One of the interesting choices that they've made there is they are not going to use an acoustically transparent screen. So, what that means is that all of their speakers are going to be outside of the screen, and that'll be particularly impactful on the center channel, right? So, I'm just curious, are you guys going to remap that center channel? And try and pull it up a little bit using the left right? Do you have any idea? I mean, it's early days, and I don't know who's going to do that that optimization, but I'm curious if that would be something that folks could do if they wanted to try and raise that image up a little bit.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the applications for remapping, and we'll certainly try that in the calibration process.
See how it comes out. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so that's one of the probably one of the major uses of it for people that have a flat panel TV or a screen that's not acoustically transparent.
Now, let me ask this question. So this is kind of off base a little bit, but this has got me thinking about one of the topics that I'm rather interested in, and that's thinking about the future and the applications for either fixed panel size direct view, like big TVs, or multi-panel like the Samsung wall and all the multi-panel LED wall kind of things, right? So obviously, if you're not talking about kind of the Sony technology where they kind of built it in and the whole panel kind of resonates, and traditional stuff where they're going to put speakers maybe above and below. What is what are the available Trinnov solutions now for that kind of stereo center channel using an above and below center? How is that kind of baked in, or is that like a special where you take those two and somehow pair them together and then do a stereo, or what would you do in that scenario?
Well, because the way the optimizer works, we're really well suited to that type of installation. There are actually a couple of different ways of doing it. The first method would be to declare 2 center channels in the system, which is easily done in the Alder tool. So both would get the center channel. In the calibration process, the level and delay for each speaker and the EQ for each speaker will be handled separately. And then because of the tools that we have, there's an option to do some fine tuning of delay to align them if that's necessary. The other is to use our active crossover function, which would be used to declare a two-way speaker, but no crossover. So no filters of any sort. One way of that speaker would be the high center. The other would be the low center. And in the active crossover function of the altitude, we measure the speaker. We don't just take the manufacturer's spec and load it in. We actually calibrate the active crossover before we do the full calibration. So in that case, we would do a level and delay separately for the upper and lower center. And then in calibration, it would do one EQ for the two speakers.
That's cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of approaches and then tools to fine tune after the fact.
Yeah, and I see this happening a lot more at the higher end. You know, in the past, you know, the high end was like, okay, we're going to do, you know, a 180-inch AT screen. We're going to have a center behind it, right? But now I see a lot of people like, well, my room's a little bit smaller, but I want to have this awesome experience, so I'm going to do like 136, 132, whatever the video walls are nowadays, and they want to do an above and below center, right? Yeah. And they want that same experience that they would have with an AT screen, but on direct view. Nice.
It's a challenge, but we can do it.
You're up to it. Okay. And okay, one final topic of conversation that I want to get into is the use cases for your technology outside of theater or the traditional multi-channel. And this really is more along the lines of two-channel stuff, right? And you guys, I mean, people that kind of move in my circles, you know, they think of you as, I think, purely a home theater cinema company, but that's not true at all, right? Could you talk a little bit about the offerings you have, and then, you know, kind of the cool things in two-channel world that's out there?
Yeah. So we have a stereo preamp called the Amethyst. It happens to be sitting behind me here in my office.
Dun, dun, dun. Magic.
Part of my office system. And it actually predated the altitude.
Okay.
Trinnov's background really goes into stereo reproduction. If you go back to the earliest days of the optimizer and its application, it was being used in stereo mix environments. There weren't surround systems. There was no Atmos in the 2005, 2006 range. So the earliest adopters were sound mixers and research facilities. So our background really goes much deeper in terms of stereo reproduction. So the Amethyst is a stereo preamp with a full optimizer capability, same as you have with the Altitude. It's limited in channels because it's stereo. It's 2 channels in, and it will do 4 outputs. So you can either do stereo pair with 1 or 2 subwoofers in mono or stereo, or if you have active speakers, you can do a pair of 2-way speakers bi-amplified.
That's awesome.
And it has 10 inputs, has a phono input. So it's really an exceptional performer. I bought it for my stereo listing because it just sounds so good. And it's really the optimizer in a stereo application.
So here's my challenge to some company that's out there that's listening. My challenge to you is to approach Trinnov and say, hey, we're going to have a room at Munich or Expona or Capital Audio Fest, and we want to do 8-way stereo speakers with a Trinnov Altitude 16 doing the crossover externally using optimizer. Could you imagine? I'm sure you could. I think you guys have done something like that in the
Yeah,
past, but
we've done 4-way with some very exotic loudspeakers.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
That
it's a strength of the active crossover, and it's really something that it actually could be a tool for a speaker designer to have that capability
absolutely.
of modeling crossovers.
I wonder. I'm trying to think of the name. It's a Wilson. What is there? It's the Super Chrono Master upside down speaker. I can't think of the name of it. But it's like the super expensive one where they can move everything in and out.
Right, right.
You guys, it would be perfect because I think that's all off-board, active crossover and everything. So I don't know. I there's a challenge. Folks out there watching, contact me. I'll hook you guys up.
All right.
I have to hear this. I have to hear this. This would be amazing.
Deal.
Okay, I did lie. One last topic, and that's your trailers, right? Because we had mentioned that before. So Trinnov has a number of trailers that are available, and you can download them from the website. Is that right?
Yeah, you can get them from the website.
Now, are they also available for Kaleidoscape download and that kind of thing as well?
Yes. Yeah. If you're fortunate enough to own a Kaleidoscape, they're available in the Kaleidoscape store. Just search for Trinnov, and they'll all pop up.
And so, what do you use these for? Is it just really cool ways to show off your system, or?
They are absolutely that. They are a combination of very creative, very imaginative video in 4K with very active immersive mixes at most, but we also have DTSX versions and or 3D versions available for some of them. And one thing that frustrates a lot of people when they have a high channel count immersive system is that a lot of source material just doesn't use many of the speakers. If a movie isn't mixed actively, a lot of speakers are just going to be sitting idle during playback. These are not like that. There's a lot going on. There's movement, there's atmospherics, and you're going to hear the capability of your system, particularly at the low end, because most of them have some very significant bass content, and some have some exceptional deep bass content. So if you've got good subwoofers, they're going to get a workout. You might want to be careful if you don't.
Right on. That's cool. Yeah, I'll make sure to put those into, or at least one of them into my rotation for folks when they come over to check things out. That's cool.
Yeah, it's something to test your system, and it's something to show it off for your friends.
Right on.
For
sure.
sure.
And we all love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're getting close on time now, and so the last thing is for folks that are interested in Trinnov, maybe they don't have it in their system, but they don't know where to go. Where can people find out more about your products and potentially find a partner for purchase, installation, service, that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's trinnov.com. It's our website. It's very simple.
Trinnov. Is there a dealer lookup? Yeah. Is there a dealer lookup on there, or?
There is a dealer lookup. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. It's a tab called purchase, and you can put in your location, and it'll give you a little map, a little pop up, and a listing of the dealers in that area.
Great. Awesome.
And you can certainly contact us. I'm happy to talk to customers, prospective and current. We don't hide away. We really enjoy speaking to our customers and helping them out and answering questions, because people want to have information before they make a big purchase like buying a Trinnov processor.
Absolutely. Cool. Anything to leave the folks with before we close today?
No, I think we've covered pretty well. I just if you're going to be in Denver, we look forward to seeing you at the show.
Oh, I'll be there for sure.
Yeah, you'll be there. Yeah. The last thing I'll leave you with is if you're there and come by, we will have some surprises for you.
Ooh, surprises. I love surprises.
Yeah, that's my teaser. I'll leave you with a teaser. Come by, and as our website says, you can discover what's next.
That's cool. Well, everybody, for folks that can't be there, I will be there. And as soon as I find out what's next, you'll know what's next. But I'll be there with bells on to check out. All right, Chuck, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Enjoyed it.
And then everybody out there that's watching, thank you. I know your time is precious. Thanks for choosing to spend it with us. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next show.